What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Sometimes I forget to do videos on things that I should be covering. Case in point, when we were at the dyno and I was doing all the jet changes on the carburetors, I didn't even talk about the carburetors, right? And if you noticed in one of my earlier videos, and I'll put a link to it up here, I actually scored a set of vintage Dominators off of Facebook Marketplace. JB Wood hooked me up with a super awesome deal with some 50-year-old Dominators that has pro stock lineage to them, and that was the carbs that I was going to run, but I never showed the carbs that wound up on Project Mixed Up Boss, and that's what we're going to do today. So what you're looking at here are two Dominator carburetors that are 50 years apart, literally. These carburetors, by best I can tell of the date, and it's faintly there, 011, that means 71 on this carburetor. This is a 4575 model, which is the original Dominator. So I had a ton of questions about how come I didn't use these carburetors on Mixed Up Boss. Well, let's get into that. I know that whenever I get Casper up and running and I'm trying to find fuel mileage, yes, I said fuel mileage with Dominators, there's going to be a lot of drilling and modifications that need to be done to the carburetors themselves. Do I really want to drill on a set of 50-year-old carburetors? To be honest, I can't bring myself to do it. So the purpose of this video, we're going to talk about the differences of old and new, and we're going to actually talk about what these carburetors are. Because Jim at Allstate Carburetor up in New York built these specifically for me and Casper and Mixed Up Boss. So let's get into the details. Off the bat, you already notice some differences. First of all, this has an extended air horn here, and it has a taller booster compared to what is on the new Dominator. In a live chat with Drag Boss Garage, Mark Campbell, he's actually one of the fathers of the Dominator carburetor. He said that the 4575 Dominators had the most perfect Venturi design of any carburetor ever made. And I believe that. When you look at the detail, the Venturis on this carburetor are finely machined. I mean, it is literally a work of art. You come over here to the new one, and it's an as-cast finished, you know. So what was the intended purpose for these carburetors? The intended purpose was pro stock in 1971-72. The story behind these were they were for Don Carlton and the Motown Missile, and they never got used or ran. I can tell you that when you take the bowls off of these carburetors, and I'll show a picture of it, it looks brand new inside. It literally looks like there's never been fuel, or if there was fuel in it once upon a time, it was drained out and never ran again. You can tell that it was actually mounted on an engine based off of the witness marks on the main body here. But you see the air horn differences, you see the booster difference. These boosters are tall boosters that are meant to be used on independent runner intake setups. Okay, if you look at other traditional 4575s, the booster looks similar to this, where this is an annular, it's a straight leg booster, and you can see the bar across the center of that one. And looking here, it has traditional pressed in air bleeds, where every orifice on the new carburetor is adjustable. That is huge. And that's where it gets into the part of modifying it. I do not want to drill these to make it right for my combination, because these carburetors will only be original one time, and I don't want to be that guy, just being honest. You can see these carburetors here have little set screws right here. That's for idle bypass, so that with an extremely rowdy cam, you can change those orifices out to make it run better at idle without getting into the transfer slot, where this one doesn't. Let's flip them over. And this is one of the big differences. Okay. On older style Dominators, you can see that the linkage is in between the venturis here for the primaries and secondaries. I mean, yeah, that doesn't give me warm fuzzy feelings thinking that something could drop into your engine. Whereas if you come over here, you see linkage is gone. It's moved outside here to the traditional linkage of today, like a double pumper. And this one is actually pretty much infinitely adjustable. I mean, I can go 1-to-1. I can set it up on a delayed. You can see I have it set up on a slight delay right there. It'll go that far right there, and then the primary is open 1-to-1. So that is for low speed drivability with Casper. Even the accelerator pumps are different. I actually think that back in the day, they rated these accelerator pumps as 45cc compared to this design, which is 50cc. And you know, this is actually off of a industrial truck application. That's where that accelerator pump come from. So there's a lot of differences. Now, the CFM rating of this carburetor versus this carburetor are two totally different things. This one, on the box, it says 1150. If you look up the designation for 4575, it says 1050. So, not quite sure what they were rated at on an independent runner setup. But this one here, I had Jim do special, because once upon a time, Holley offered 750 Dominator. And that is what this is. He built me 750 Dominators because, let's face it, mixed up boss, I could have gotten away with a pair of 750s, 150 carbs, or 950s, and it would have been good. But the reason I chose Dominator to begin with is I have a theory on fuel mileage. And I'm going to test that theory on Casper after the No Name Nationals, because I think it can deliver pretty good mileage. Now, the only real difference between a 1050 and a 750 Dominator is the 750 Dominators have these bell mouth boosters here to restrict airflow. So, but besides that, I could physically turn this into a 1050 just by changing the boosters, which may do that down the road. I don't know. But when you compare the size of the throttle blades of a Dominator to a 4150, there is no comparison. And just for the secret, I think that's going to be my secret to success on fuel economy. I know that sounds really crazy, but you'll have to watch another video to find out about that. So I just wanted to touch base and show you the difference of 50 years in Holley Dominators, and these are going to deliver the goods on Casper. Those might make a special appearance at the track only, just to see if I can make a pass and see what happens. But if I do that, I will not modify them. So until next time, this is Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage. I'll catch you later.